So I don't normally quote teach touch, and it's the hardest, not that I don't teach it, it's just very hard to do. And I haven't done it in a while because it's sort of been the same people for a while, but since I've got you guys. So just my initial touch off of someone like this, to me it's like having a USB port. I can tell right now, that I would want to work, let's say, on her shoulder area, right through here. I'm probably not expecting much rotation back from the pelvis. However, I don't like to assume either, but this is all I need to do with someone. Now, most people I will talk a bit more to them and touch more because they want to feel like they're getting something for their money. Like, you're not touching me, how do you know? And also, too, that's when people start saying, like, well, you're psychic. Well, no, I'm not. This is just what I do. So, but what I want to just do is concentrate on teaching you touch. So now, I was taught, like, to do something like this, like a ride the spine. You're just going into, like, a bone level, and then coming back off, and going back into, like, a bone level. But now feel the difference, sort of, let's say, my way, is I'm just going in with a light twist. Now, you don't have to say you like my touch better one way or the other. I believe this is just more, do you feel it more in your system, that light rotation? Versus, again, I'm just going to, and again, it's the same quality of touch. So feel, but I feel like this is just touching you. Where this is touching,
Yeah, there's a follow through, yeah.
Now with this, I know already, I'm talking to the wrist, the way that the hand's presenting onto the table, even though I'm only working with the chest cavity. Now that's not something that I expect you to feel, but that's just where let's say my intention of the touch. So shoulder, see already, look at the difference. The head's more involved now, the shoulder. See, now I'm doing a whole, again, it's the same thing. I'm not just touching, it's a twist. You feel? And even with all of that, do you feel how, even as the rib cages start to move, that extension going up the back?
Yeah.
So again, the other thing is just to realize when you're touching, you're not touching this area. So now if I was doing a reverse touch, so I might stabilize my hand, let's say my left hand here. I just come in here, like here's just a real classic of taking the pelvis. But again, instead of just pulling back, I'm going to do it now where I do a light rotation. And it's a completely different movement. So in this one, you can't even compare. You can see how I have much more of the sternum and the upper chest cavity, as well as the back of the chest.
I feel your hand making rotation. I don't feel my pelvis.
Oh, right. Well, part of the reason is that the knee is on the table the way it is, so it's locking up. But again, this is the way you chose to lay down. So if I were to fix you, it would be like, here, so put your knees on top of each other. So I want to bend you. Now this is going to feel very strange for you. Feel your feet directly below your pelvis.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I can't breathe.
What?
I can't breathe.
Right, well look at how it throws your balance.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
Yes.
But I'm just lining you up.
Wow.
So for me to start, this is a perfect example of what I don't do to babies. Now, if that baby can't breathe, you know what I mean? Where is the learning? You are so concentrating on where you are on this table. My touch, now you might feel it. Look at the startle. You feel that?
Yeah.
That little?
Yeah.
So now go back to where you're comfortable. Yeah.
Totally screwed up.
But this is you. And I have to honor that. There's no, but if I can work on you in this position and eventually, like Ruthie did, flow those feet back, that's just an option versus the right way to put you. It's just, then look at how different and more empowered your brain is.
Yeah.
So that's the principle with the kids right there in a nutshell.
Yeah, and I can completely feel how I'm like holding, my knee is holding myself.
Right. So even here, I'm not moving the fingers, but notice again, there's a light rotation going up, lifting the spine. So I'm not touching. And the reason I'm doing both ways, I want your brain just to compare. And if in some instance you might say, hey, now that to me is pokey. Just a little bit pokey here. But here, if I were to, again to rotate that area, right there, that's better to me.
Well, that's fascinating. So you're rotating the area rather than going into a grouping of bones and rotating.
Right.
Yeah.
I can either, and I'll do it just sort of like, I can either, see now this is just more of like a screw, you know what I mean? But what I'm doing here is just taking my thumb, making contact, I make that initial, and then as I continue, it's just a slight rotation. Feel the difference?
Yes.
But feel the volume in the sit bone and the pelvic area?
Yes.
And that's just for one finger. So now if I put all my fingers down, see now if I wanted to, now I can work on the hip joint. I can work up on the iliac crest. I can work more the tailbone, the extension of the spine. Even when I ride up here, you can feel how even, the camera's getting where my elbow is dropping to bring the finger up.
Yeah, I feel it, yeah.
So now if I come back to this original movement and just rotating, feel the difference now in the chest cavity.
Absolutely.
Now I totally get it again. Now when you fixed your knees, you were so overcompensating. Your knee is way up here, whereas when we started it was more like here. But see, I made you so paranoid you brought the knee all the way up, which is fine. But I'm not going to feel the difference now the pelvis in this position.
Yeah. I can feel it down to my ankles.
Yeah. So now if I were to put your knees on top of each other and then bring them, see, even that's under the spine. Does that feel a little bit different
It
already?
feels much better.
Yeah.
Much more natural.
Right. But see how you got to compare? So now if I wanted to, but see that's even too fast. I would have to then, when I saw something like that, bring my hand here so I can stabilize you. And see, but this is the part where baby learns to roll over. Ah, right there. You've not breathed in that position. You feel it? So I'm just letting you.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. And then bring it back. See how the pelvis is learning how to move separately from the chest cavity? And then down.
So this also has to do with that diaphragm point you mentioned on the back with babies and vision, right?
Right. Well, if I suddenly did this, where are your eyes going? You know what I mean? Yeah. And again, I don't mean to throw you into startle, but when you don't experience it, I don't know how you can help it. That's where I sort of get annoyed where a lot of these doctors and therapists, and that's where maybe I'm just different because I have a special needs son. So see now how I'm working on that twist that I did with Mason? Head down and see how your bum is starting to come.
Yeah. And my eyes are tracking all the way across.
Yeah. Now here, see how I'm twisting my upper left-hand finger? There we go.
Yeah.
And where I wouldn't have a problem lifting your head, where I would have a problem is your knee. Same as Mason's head. And just feel, see right there, if I were to continue to roll, how much your knee weighs in this position. So that's where I would need to organize your femur so that rotation and that lift right here would happen. And that's where one possibility where I could take the lesson. But again, if I just met you for the first time, that's not the conversation I would have. I would already have way more to just initiate movement in your system before I got to that's more higher level. However, if you just now took this foot and went in front of you again, like this, now feel the roll. Feel the difference?
Wow.
See, the lift is happening with the knee there. See, that's more familiar. See how there we go, leg comes up?
Yeah, and it hurts in here.
Oh, sorry.
No, I'm just, it's,
But still, there's more of a lift in the
Yeah.
knee here
Yeah.
than there was when, in a sense, it should have been more advantageous. You were more symmetrical.
yeah.
But
Yeah,
that's not familiar for you. But see now how I can rotate your chest.
right.
And again, I'm not so much as giving you a lesson, just to show you different ways I start to initiate touch in someone.
No, that's helpful. That's
So.
helpful, yeah.